What is up, guys? Welcome back to the return of the one pack hybrid on my channel. So as you can see on screen right about now, I'm about to open my pack, and in this pack we do get the Italian goalkeeper Behzinga from AC Milan, and that is who we will be building the team around. It's a shame that I did get a goalkeeper, but we would now be swinging over into the squad builder. Right guys, welcome back to the squad builder part of this episode. So as you can see on screen, I have built a team, and it's a pretty decent little hybrid in the new 4-3-3 variant formation, the number 2 variant of the 4-3-3, and this does involve a CDM, which is quite good as it gives you that defensive cover as well. But we did get Behzinga in the pack, so as you can see, he is in goal, and we'll get started with the team. So in goal, we do have Behzinga. He's a pretty decent keeper. He did make some mistakes every now and then, but I'm not too sure how much he goes for. He might be expensive, and I'm not too sure though, because he's not really the number 1 choice of keeper in the Serie A, but a decent keeper nonetheless, and does have some pretty decent stats of 84 diving, 75 handling, 73 kicking, 84 reflexes, and 79 positioning. All overall a pretty decent keeper. But we'll now move on to the defensive line, and at left back we do have Antonini. He is a silver. He does go for around 3,000 coins, so he's quite an expensive silver, but I suppose that is because he is in the Serie A and he is Italian, so I'll be going into quite a lot of silver teams, Italian silver teams, and some hybrids as well. And overall he's a pretty decent defender. He went missing in the game sort of every now and then. You didn't really get to see much of him, but he covered the defence pretty well, and I have nothing bad to say about him nonetheless. I wouldn't say he's worth 3,000 coins though, so I would just wait for his price to drop. And moving over to the left side centre-back, we do have Chiellini, who I did pull in a pack. He's a pretty decent defender. Last year, he was probably my favourite centre-back in the game, but this year, he's not as solid as he was. He's had a downgrade in his pace. He now has 77 pace, which is a shame, but he still has super high defensive stats, and overall, he's a quality centre-back to have. He just doesn't seem as overpowered as he was last year, so that's quite a shame, but still a decent defender nonetheless. And to partner Chiellini at the back, we do have Behzinga. Behzinga is a quality defender. He only has 69 pace, and he's quite cheap compared to Chiellini, and they both play for Juventus, or Juventus, however you want to pronounce it. And he's got lower pace than Chiellini. He's got 69 pace, but he does also have fantastic defensive abilities and provided me with great cover, especially with Chiellini being slower and not as overpowered as he was. Behzinga was always just a little bit further back than Chiellini, so Behzinga provided me with a lot better defensive cover, and I do recommend putting him into some of your teams, and definitely the cheaper option for the centre-back role for the Serie A teams and your Italian teams. But moving over onto the right-back position, Conco was injured, so that's a shame. But we do have Conco. He is a non-rare centre-back, right-back this year, and he does have some pretty decent stats as well. Overall, he was probably one of my most chosen right-backs for the Serie A last season, as he does have quality pace. But unfortunately, I decided to put him into this team. He's probably worth the coins as well. I'm not too sure how much he's going for, but he can definitely fit into a load of teams this year. He is French, and he is in from the Serie A as well. And I don't think he's that expensive. I don't really know. I'll have to check the market. But he's definitely worth the coins nonetheless, and he does provide you with good defensive cover, and he's able to shrug people off the ball as well as having decent pace as well. But moving up the pitch into the centre defensive mid role, we do have Pogba, who has some of the best all-round stats this year on the game. And I did play him in the CDM spot, even though that he is default a CM. I didn't go out and get a card just because he does get the full chemistry. But he does have the most overall rated stats this year, I think. He's one up there in the top 5, I do believe, something like that. As he does have pretty good overall stats, and he's definitely worth getting for any of your French teams or Serie A teams, as he's an absolute beast in midfield. He pretty much runs the midfield, and definitely worth picking up for a couple of teams. But to start off now, linking up from the Serie A into the hybrid, on the left side of midfield, we do have Behzinga for Arsenal. He's normally always injured, but this year, I picked him up for this team. He's a 77 non-rare card this year, but he did run the midfield as well. This midfield absolutely bossed it for me, always had control of the ball, and they do have pretty good strength, all 3 players in the midfield. So it was definitely worth getting Diaby, especially because he's quite cheap as well. I think he's around 1,300 coins, and definitely worth getting for the squad. But I'd definitely recommend him for French teams and BPL teams, maybe some cheap BPL teams, as he will definitely be worth it. But now we will move over to the right side of midfield, and we do have Sissoko. He is in the CDM position because I do play him in my BPL team, so I decided to slot him to this team as well because he was French and I wanted to get the BPL up front force. But Sissoko was one of my favourite players last year, and he's an absolute beast this year as well, and definitely worth getting for some of your teams, and he runs the midfield as well as Diaby and Pogba. But moving up the pitch once again into the attacking force. First of all, on the right wing, we do have Nathan Dyer, who does have 92 pace, so he's got absolutely blistering pace. But the rest of his stats are pretty weak. He has around 60 in nearly all of his other stats, apart from his dribbling, I do believe. So pretty bad stats on the rest of it, apart from his pace. But he's good with that pace. If you can just lob it over the top through ball to him, he's definitely going to be able to latch onto it and probably score you a couple of goals. It depends on your playstyle though. And we're going to switch over to the left side, and we do have at left wing Marvo for Newcastle. He doesn't have the best pace. He does have around 70 something pace, but overall he does have pretty decent stats everywhere else. I think he's got 70 something shot, and he was definitely worth the buy. I think I picked him up for quite cheap as well, especially for a left wing for the BPL. I suppose it's because he doesn't have much pace though, but overall he did perform very well for me. I think he grabbed himself a few goals, and definitely worth picking up for a team if you're looking for a cheap left winger who can score you goals and probably play pretty well for you. But now we'll move over to the main man at striker. We do have Samuel Eto'o, and I have applied the Hawk chemistry style to him just so he gets a boost in his pace and his shooting, I do believe. But he's 84 rated this year, and he is in the BPL, and he does play for Chelsea, which is absolutely brilliant. The BPL teams are going to be absolutely horrible this year just because of the amount of sheer pace and quality up front. But overall, Samuel Eto'o was really good for me. I've heard a lot of people complain that he wasn't that decent, but for me, he did perform very well, and he did grab the majority of the goals for this team. But he is quite expensive. I believe I sold him on after this for around 57,000 coins, so that is quite a lot of coinage right there. But maybe if you wait a little while, you'll probably be able to pick him up a lot cheaper, as many people have complained about him. But for me, he was a quality player and definitely worth for this team, as he did grab the majority of the goals. So guys, I do hope that you have enjoyed the first episode of the one pack hybrid. If you have, maybe you could leave a like and a comment, as that'd be absolutely fantastic. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to my channel, as I do post FIFA content on a daily basis, and it would be amazing. If you want to check the description for links to my second channel, my Twitter, my Facebook and my live stream, make sure to go and check all those out, as that is where you can keep up to date with what I'm doing. And I will see you guys next time for another video. Bye!